Brandon Phillips and the first-place Reds look to run their winning streak to 5 in a row. Oh, but David Wright and the gritty, overachieving New York Mets stand in their way. It's baseball night in America. A spectacular weather night. We welcome you to Citi Field in New York. Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series between the Reds and the Mets. The Reds have a 3.5-game lead in the National League Central. They have the best record in all of baseball going back to the middle of April. Meanwhile, for the Mets, a surprise to many. Expectations were quite low when the season began, but now they're 5 games over 500. A pleasure to be joined by former All-Star first baseman Sean Casey. And, for the Reds, the first 2 months, Sean, it was all about pitching and defense. Now, all of a sudden, they're not going to cover off the ball.
Well, you got it right, Tom. In April and May, they were real mediocre offensively. But I tell you what, in June, they're hot. You look up at the top of the offensive categories with the Reds in the National League, the Reds are right up there at the top.
And as far as these Mets are concerned, what a job Terry Collins has done. I don't think anybody expected them to do what they've done, at least so far.
He's done a great job. I think one thing when you watch the Mets play, they've taken on Terry Collins' personality. This guy's a gamer. These guys are grinding out at bats, getting on base. It's been a fun team to watch.
Well, we'll see how it goes tonight. The Reds took the series opener here last night. Joey Votto, for a month, has been better than a 500 batter. Been a mighty good start, though, for David Wright and these Mets. They try to even this series at a game apiece. You're watching baseball on Fox. Here in New York, about 20 miles outside of Manhattan. Dusty Baker and the Reds rolled in and got an opening game win 7-3 here last night. His starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. The rookie Zach Cozart at short, Wilson Valdez for the injured Drew Stubbs in center, and the amazing Joey Votto at first. Brandon Phillips, Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier from Toms River, New Jersey in the middle. Ryan Ludwig, Devin Mesoraco, another rookie, and right-hander Homer Bailey is on the mound. Reds come in 9 games over 500, a season best. And our opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Jonathan Neese, a 4-2 record, born in Lima, Ohio, still makes his home in the Buckeye State in Defiance, Ohio, and he's having a mighty solid year. Tonight his 13th start. What is the scouting report, Sean Casey, on Jonathan Neese?
Well, I think the big thing with Jonathan Neese is he's got to be able to control the corners tonight. He's got to be able to work his cutter, work his sinker, stay out of the middle of the plate against this Big Reds offense. And you know, another thing too, Tommy, listen, the Reds are hot. They're the hottest team in the National League in June as far as their offense goes. If guys get on base, you got to have damage control. Jonathan Neese has to find a way to make a pitch and get out of that big inning.
Take a look at the Mets defensively. They have been an up and down defensive club the entire year. Hairston for the injured Jason Bay. He got hurt here last night. Neuenhuis and Dude in the outfield. Wright, Quintanilla, Murphy, and Davis along the infield. Josh Tolley the catcher. And Jonathan Neese is on the mound. Let's get right to it, Mr. Casey. Our Ford go further. Keys to the game. We start with the Reds.
Well, I think a big thing with the Reds is get Neese out of the game, get into that pen. That pen struggled all year long. They're hot hitting, get into the pen. And for the Mets, continue the clutch hit and get on base with the walks and come up with the big hits. They're not going to bop you to death with the 3-run homer, Tommy, but they can hit in the clutch.
Terry Collins very excited about the young core group of New York Mets. He even admitted himself perhaps years ago during his managerial days in Houston and then Anaheim, he may not have had the patience to watch some of these youngsters, but time away from that seat has given him tremendous patience, and he's done a great job.
You know, it was great today talking to him when he was talking about these guys have all come up together, and now they're in the big leagues again. They look and see we were in A-ball, AA together, AAA, and they're all comfortable.
Ball one to Zach Cozart. This one underway, and it's a base hit into center field by Cozart, the rookie shortstop, who, much like this entire Cincinnati team, is starting to really swing the bat in June. He is batting better than .350 so far this month. Drew Stubbs, the Cincinnati regular center fielder, placed on the disabled list yesterday, but retroactive. He had already been out with a side injury over the last 9 days. So Wilson Valdez stepped in there for him last night, made his first career start in center field, and all he did was have 2 hits and knocked in 3 runs.
You know, talking to Bake before the game, he'd say it's such a luxury to have a guy like Wilson Valdez that can play all over the place. And the fact that you can put a utility guy in center field, that's rare. That's rare right there, Tommy, that he can play all over the place and he can play center field for you.
Valdez pushes a bunt, and this could be a hit. They feed to the bag, and it's not in time. Valdez has already won a couple of games this season for Cincinnati by bunting, and all of them have gone push bunts to the right side.
Well, he puts it right there in the Bermuda Triangle right here where Ike Davis tries to look, doesn't have to play over there at second base, but right there, you have to get an out. Ike Davis looks at second. It looks like the shortstop wasn't there. Ike tried to come back to get it to Murphy, didn't get it. But I tell you what, in this situation right here, Tom, you got to get an out. First inning, you can't have first and second. Now with the big boppers coming up.
Well, here is the all-world Joey Votto, and I do mean all-world player. Signed to the 10-year contract extension just before the season began. .359 batting average, 12 home runs, and 44 runs batted in. And over the last month, he has virtually been impossible to get out. He falls behind quickly to Neese here at 0-2.
This is what I think makes Joey Votto so good. He's not scared to hit 0-2. He's not scared to hit with 2 strikes. He shortens it up a little bit, finds a way to put it in play.
I mean, look inside some of these numbers for Joey Votto. On base percentage, #1. Slugging percentage, #1. Doubles, #1. Runners in scoring position, #1. First in walks, And the third best batter in the league, but Nice chews him up there, got him looking, and that's a big first out.
Great pitch right there. That's what Nice needs to do tonight, especially a guy like against Votto. Right there, control the corners, and he did right there with that cutter, 90 miles an hour. Nasty on the outside plaque. Votto just couldn't pull the trigger right here. Sets it up, totally sets up. Bam, he hits the outside corner. Joey knew it. But I tell you what, that's a tough pitch to even foul off.
Well, as good as Votto has been, the man who's been driving in runs aplenty of late is Cincinnati's cleanup hitter. He began the year, did Brandon Phillips, as their leadoff hitter. But after Scott Rowland was injured, and by the way, they expect Rowland back on Monday, Phillips has knocked in 22 runs in his last 18 games. He has homered in 3 straight games. Strike one. Last night against Dylan G in the 3rd inning with Votto aboard. Phillips club home run number 9.
He's got such quick hands. You know, talking to Brandon before the game, he's just talking about how the ball looks so big to him right now. The ball, everything looks like he can just hammer it. And you know, Tom, because you do a lot of the games, when he gets hot, he gets really hot.
That one's in the air, and it will be the 2nd out of the inning. So real nice work here by Nice. After Cozart and Valdez reached, he retires Votto and Phillips. One more out to go.
That's what we talked about at the beginning of the game. You're going to get some guys on base. The Reds are going to get guys on there. But Nice has got to make pitches and keep the damage at a minimum, and he's doing it right now.
Last night, Jay Bruce snapped an 0 for 10 skid with his first career inside the park home run, a play where Jason Bay was injured. His head went crashing into that padded wall, jarring his neck, causing a concussion. And Terry Collins told us before the game today it is going to be a while for Jason Bay. He's a very fortunate young man that he was able to get up and walk off the field.
You know, I played with Jason Bay 2 stops in Pittsburgh in 06 and Boston in 08. That guy's a gamer. I'll tell you what, I've seen him play hurt day in and day out. If he's not in the lineup or he says he's shaken up, he's one of the guys Terry Collins knows this guy's definitely hurt.
Collins beginning 2nd full year as a New York skipper. And that one is hit down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It's fair, it's gone. 3-0 Cincinnati.
Well, that's what Nice can't afford to do right there. He can't afford to make an 0-2 pitch that's just right out over the plate. Something, Bruce, as a left-handed hitter, when you get a ball like that, curveball out over the plate, it's something you can pull and pull deep. But you look right here, so too, he's trying to say, he drops down a little bit, and Bruce just absolutely crushes this ball to right field. And you know when Jay Bruce gets hot with that swing, it's pretty impressive.
So now the local hero, Todd Frazier. He was on that Little League World Series championship team from Toms River, New Jersey. I mean, not only here in the Northeast, but they celebrated that team all over America. After they won the Little League World Series, they came out to Yankee Stadium, had a chance to meet some of the Yankee greats. Paul O'Neill there. There you see Todd Frazier. And what an amazing story he is now turning into for this Cincinnati team. Taking over regularly at third for the injured Scott Rowland. 7 home runs, 10 doubles, 22 runs batted in.
Just a great personality, too. Look at him right there. Right next to Derek Jeter. But such a great personality, such a passion for the game, Tom.
Yep.
When you talk to Todd Frazier, you can't help but to walk away saying, this guy loves baseball.
There's a swing and a miss on a fastball up in the zone, but major damage in the opening inning. Bruce plays long ball. 3-0 Cincinnati. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Kirk Neuenhuis, Daniel Murphy, and David Wright to start it. Duda in right field, Ike Davis at first, Scott Hairston in left, Josh Tolley, Omar Quintanilla to shortstop, Jonathan Neese on the mound. For Terry Collins, Reds out to a 3-0 lead. Homer Bailey just turned 26 years young. 4-4 record, a 4.35 ERA. And really has pitched better than that earned run average might indicate. It's only been 2 bad starts that have inflated that ERA. He has had 8 quality starts so far this year.
Well, I think a big thing for Homer Bailey is he's got to command the fastball, Tom. And he gets it up there about 93, 95 miles an hour. He's got to command the fastball, get strike one. He's also got to stay away from the big inning.
Bailey, a former #1 pick. And here's Neuenhuis. Boy, what a savior he has turned out to be for this Mets team. Terry Collins said he was nowhere on the radar when spring training began. Neuenhuis missed nearly all of last year with an injured shoulder, attempting to make a diving catch. Came to spring training this year and immediately injured his oblique muscle, so he was sent to minor league camp. And were it not for an injury, as he swings and misses, but it comes back behind the plate, Mesoraco, a strong throw in time. Well, that's a nice play by the rookie catcher Devin Mesoraco.
Mesoraco does a great job right there of getting this ball as quick as he can. And Joey Votto, as a first baseman, does a great job of setting him up for the inside part. But right here, it just gets away from him. Mesoraco does a great job, though, of hustling back to this ball. Joey Votto sets up on the outside. Perfect strike to him. Great play right there by Mesoraco.
Mesoraco, one of your homeboys.
Yes, Punxsutawney. Punxsutawney Phil. It's Groundhog Day when Mesoraco's out there.
We asked Devin Mesoraco, did he used to go for Punxsutawney Phil? You know, every single year when they have Groundhog Day, and he said only one time. That's in the dirt to Daniel Murphy.
That's like the people here in New York that have never been to the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
They lived there their whole life, never been to the Statue of Liberty. All the tourists come to see it, though.
On the outside corner, 1-2 to Murphy, who's hit a rough patch here over the last 2 weeks. Only 6 hits in his last 46 at-bats, but he is a good hitter. That one hit down the left field line into the corner, and this will be for extra bases. A double for Daniel Murphy. 17 of those on the year.
You know, talking to Daniel Murphy before the game, I said, hey, listen, don't get caught up in trying to hit those home runs. Just go out there and be who you are. Use the whole field. Use the gaps line to line. Did a great job right there, just taking what Homer Bailey get him and shot one to left field. Well, you see right there, Homer Bailey caught a little bit too much of the plate. But Murphy does a great job of not trying to do too much and trying to pull and maybe roll over it. He shoots it to left field for a double. Nice piece of hitting.
So now David Wright, .357 batter, 8 home runs and 36 runs batted in. Runner goes. Mesoraco's throw not going to be in time. Murphy his 5th steal in 6 tries. Neither one of these teams known as running teams. The Reds' lack of a run game is primarily due to guys not getting on base early in the year.
Frazier does a nice job right here of picking it and then getting the tag down just safe. Murphy.
So a runner at third with only 1 out. And Wright stings it to the opposite field. And this will be an RBI double to get the Mets on the board. Wright drives in his 37th run.
That's what Wright does so well. And he's been doing it all year long. Going to right field, driving the ball to right center, driving the ball down the right field line. But that's where his swing goes. David Wright's swing has always gone to right field, and the right field with authority. Got a pitch right there, right here, right out over the plate. Mesoraco wanted it in, but it got out over the plate. And David Wright, you're going to make a mistake like that to David Wright, he's going to make you pay every time. Great job right there.
Back-to-back doubles from Murphy and Wright, and now Lucas Duda. Duda at 260. He's got big-time power. 10 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Straight into the air, short left field. Ludwig comes in, calls off Kozar. 2 out. So now Ike Davis. It has been a really rough start to this season for this former #1 draft pick out of Arizona State University. Was diagnosed with valley fever. It's a very severe lung infection that basically has ruined the career, or certainly stunted the career, dramatically so, for longtime major leaguer Connor Jackson. Bronson Arroyo had a bout with it last year for the Reds, and was not the same pitcher for the entire season they had seen over the 5 years before. Now Davis had a big hit in the 9th inning last Sunday night against the Yankees, against Rafael Soriano, and since then has swung the bat better. You see the Mets, you talked about damage with 2 outs. They're among the best in all of baseball.
Well, they've done a great job of getting on base and then hitting with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, hitting .280, the best in baseball. And you talk about Ike Davis. I mean, this guy, you talk about valley fever or whatever. Anytime you're not 100%, it's tough enough to play this game at 100%, let alone when you're battling stuff here and there. This is a great sign. Last 5 games, Ike Davis, 8 for 14, 1 home run, and driving in runs. That's what they need from him.
1-1 to Davis. And popped up again. And playable for Frazier in foul ground, and that'll end the inning. Doubles by Murphy and Wright. Make it a 3-1 game at the end of 1. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. On the East River, looking into lower Manhattan, we welcome you out to Queens. Just a spectacular weather night Game 2 of this 3-game series, the only series, by the way, that is not of the interleague variety in Major League Baseball this weekend. Ryan Ludwig, first pitch swinging, rolls it foul. Ludwig, a one-time All-Star for the Cardinals, had some outstanding years there, shared time last year with the Pirates in San Diego. Reds brought him in as a free agent. And while the batting average has been quite low, he's been very productive as far as driving in runs. 9 home runs and 29 batted in part-time play.
I was going to say he has some damage numbers. 9 home runs, 26 RBIs. But that average there is just a matter of consistency, going out, getting some at-bats, and going out and putting good nights together. And he just hasn't been able to do that consistently this season.
Well, where Nice has been quite stingy in the opening inning this season up until tonight, as Davis makes a catch in foul ground for out number 1. Well, you figure 12 starts, only 6 times the opposition has plated runs in the opening inning, but a 3-run home run on an 0-2 pitch with 2 outs in the first by Jay Bruce tonight.
Well, he almost got out of it, but like you said, that 0-2 pitch, too good of a pitch to Bruce. Left a hanging breaking ball out over the plate. Bruce made him pay.
Rookie Devin Mesoraco looks at a strike. Mesoraco, another former number 1 pick. This Reds team is loaded up and down with players they drafted, signed, and developed. 13 of the 25-man roster came out of their organization. 0-2. Dusty Baker is sharing with us today that it's been very, very difficult for Mesoraco. Only plays 2-3 days a week to get in any kind of offensive groove, although he quickly added it won't be long before he is a force in this lineup.
Well, he's a strong kid, strong young kid. I was talking to Devin before the game, and I said, "Hey, how's it going up here so far?" And he said, "You know what? I've had to do the catching, learn the pitching staff, and hit. And another thing, Tom, he's hitting in the 8-hole a lot too. That's not an easy spot to hit, especially for a rookie that's got to hit in front of the pitcher. It's not easy to do that."
Why not?
Well, because as a pitcher on the mound, you're always pitching around the number 8 hitter to get to the pitcher. So you're not seeing what the 2, 3, 4 hitters might be seeing, a fastball over the plate. You're getting pitched pretty tough.
Case in point right there. That is a fair ball and a nice play by David Wright. Well, right now, let's go to Matt Vasgersian for a DirecTV game break.
Tommy, Astros and Rangers. Hey, which shortstop has hit the most home runs this season? It's Jed Lowry, 13th of the year, came moments ago in Arlington against Justin Grimm, making his major league debut. 1-0 Astros in Arlington. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Tom and the mayor.
The mayor indeed.
Good old Matty V out there.
Got that nickname during his playing days in Cincinnati. Even now, Sean, I think you could come back there, run for mayor, and win in a landslide.
Well, I was always talking to everybody. I think that's why. But I loved out there in Cincinnati. Maybe I will come back and run for mayor someday, Tommy.
0-2 to Homer Bailey. 4 hits and 24 at-bats. And there's a fastball, strike 3, and a good bounce back second for Nice. Got a nice play behind him made by David Wright, and retires the side in order. fans are waiting. Grab some bud. Well, we better keep that off the screen. Sean Casey here.
Give me a double, Tommy. Double right there. With the chips, too. Extra order of chips.
Keith's Grill.
I'll
Keith
call
Hernandez.
Keith. I know Keith. I'll call him up, see if I can get a double for us up here.
Well, you're dialed in on all the food. The cuisine all over baseball. Every city, every downtown, everywhere.
Whenever I went, especially as a player, I was always hunting down the good restaurants.
And undoubtedly counting your calories, I'm sure.
Yes, of course. I'm a calorie counter.
Scott Harrison replaced the injured Jason Bay last night. And in the 7th inning, hit a 2-run home run to left field. This guy has tremendous power.
He really does. And Terry Collins has got to find ways to get him in the lineup. With Jason Bay being out now with that concussion, maybe gives Scott Harrison a chance to get in there more regularly. But 283 with 9 home runs and some big home runs late in the game to win some ball games. He's done a great job for the Mets this year.
Well, he's homered in 5 of his last 7 games in this ballpark. Now, almost all of his damage so far has been exclusively against left-handed pitching. But, I mean, this guy got to the big leagues as a big-time prospect in Arizona. He can hit right-handed pitching.
No, he can definitely hit right-handed pitching. You know, what happens is you start getting that label, hey, listen, get into a platoon situation where you just face lefties. Well, a guy like Scott Harrison, hey, he needs to get out there and get his at-bats against righties too, but he's in a situation right now where he's in a platoon role, but he's doing and making the best of that opportunity.
Homer Bailey, part of a very, very young Cincinnati starting rotation. And that breaking ball hung up there, and it is whacked into left field by Hairston. 3rd double already tonight by the New York Mets. Well, this MLB season on Fox, we are proud to support Boys and Girls Clubs of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. You know, the Mets had their franchise record 36 consecutive games with a double come to an end here last night. But already 3 of them through the first 6 batters in the lineup. And there's a base hit into left field. They are going to hold the runner at third.
This is how they've been doing it, Tom. They get guys on base. They start playing small ball. Hit here, a bunt there, a walk here, and then hitting with runners in scoring position. They've been one of the best in baseball. And that's how they've been scoring their runs. They don't have a lot of guys that can hit the 3-run home run on this club. So they rely on that small ball. They rely on hitting with runners in scoring position. They've done a great job this season. And Terry Collins and Dave Hudgens have instilled in those guys, hey, we got to get big hits when we need them.
Well, the where you are in the batting order, this becomes an extremely important at-bat here for Omar Quintanilla, who continues to fill in quite well. For the injured Ruben Tejada, they're not sure when he's coming back. They thought originally when he injured his quad it would be just a few days. It's been over a month. Tejada was running at 90% according to Terry Collins yesterday. I mean, they'll be lucky to have him back in the next week and a half, more than likely, at best.
Yeah, and I think Tejada's a guy, too, that you don't realize he's that good over at shortstop until he goes down with an injury. Then you realize, uh-oh, we're not as strong up the middle without Tejada. They're even a better club with him out there.
Bailey jumps ahead of Quintanilla at 0-2.
This is a situation right here. You got no outs. You get Quintanilla 0-2. You got to try and put him away. You got Nice coming up next. 1st and 3rd situation. If Homer Bailey can find a way to make a pitch to strike him out, now you got the pitcher coming up next. That's why this at-bat's so huge for Homer Bailey.
Tried the fastball in and missed. Bailey has been injured each of the last 2 seasons, suffering from shoulder fatigue. But Dusty Baker believes that his best days are in front of him. He stayed healthy so far this year. And we mentioned outside of really 2 poor starts, he has been very, very good. 12 of his starts, 9 of them have been quality starts behind only their staff leader and one of the best in all of baseball, right-hander Johnny Cueto.
I think one thing you're starting to see this year with Homer Bailey is his fastball is up, but he's starting to pitch. He's starting to learn how to pitch and pitch at the big league level. It's one thing to have success at AAA. It's another thing to come up here and have success at the big league level, and he's starting to figure it out.
Straight up in the air, and no chance, whether it be Phillips or Bruce, that you're going to send the runner here. So that's that big out you talked about with a pitcher now coming up.
Well, he does a great job right there, Homer Billy, of pitching Quintanilla tough. Kept coming in, tried to run that 1-2 fastball in on his hands, stayed inside, couldn't get his arms extended, and did a great job of getting a pop up to Brandon Phillips. Now's a situation where you got to try. You got Nice coming up. You can get the second out here, and now when you get to Neuenhuis, that's where you got to try and get out of this inning.
Well, you got to believe Nice is going to be up there to bunt, but the question is, do you think about a safety squeeze if he puts down a good bunt here? Hairston runs pretty well down there at third.
I think Hairston definitely has to take a look and see, okay, if Nice gets a bunt, it's a read situation. Hairston get down the line. If Nice lays down a good bunt where Hairston feels like he can get home, I think that's definitely an option right here.
Well, this Reds team, managers will tell you around baseball, there's probably not a better defensive club in the entire National League. They're very aggressive offensively. They're perhaps even more aggressive defensively, especially Votto, who has become the best defender at his position in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about this defense, and I think you got to go to Joey Votto. He makes them so much better, picking balls over there, but this guy works so hard at his craft. He'll tell you he's a great hitter. He's more proud of the Gold Glove he won last year over there defensively.
Base already shortened and bunted foul.
You got Votto crashing in. You got Frazier crashing in right on top of him. As when you crash those corners, you want that pitcher to know, hey, listen, we're right on top of you. You better make a perfect bunt, or we got a chance to turn two here. And that's why sometimes you see those pitchers get gun shy and drop that barrel. You're going to see both Votto and Frazier closing in on Nice hard here.
0-1 pitch, and bunted back to the pitcher. And he will throw to second. They get the out there. Not the out at first, but the runner Hairston stays put at third.
That's definitely not what Nice wanted right there. He did not want to hit a rocket back to Homer Bailey. Almost turned two. But you see right there, Nice wanted to get something down. Votto didn't really charge on that one. If he could get this down to first base, he does the job and gets that sack, gets that guy to second base and does the sack. But right there, he just got it out too hard, got too much of the barrel, and ended up hitting a rocket back to Homer Bailey. Watch Votto right here. He doesn't charge, see? So as the pitcher right there, Nice has to get that ball down to first base to get the sack over to second.
A very good awareness by Bailey to initially look over at third base, because it looked like Hairston had ideas of coming hard down the line. All right, now the catcher, Devin Mesoraco, steps in front of the plate, telling everybody around the infield what?
Well, he's telling everybody around the infield, okay, this is what we're going to do right here. We got to play on. If he steals second base, we're either going to throw through to second. We're going to pump fake and get the guy at third to try and get him to commit. It's stuff you work on in spring training. It's the bunt plays defense with the catcher coming out and signaling what we're going to do here. Throw through or maybe fake throw, get that guy baited over at third base, get Hairston off and throw him out.
In the air to left field, and what a job by Homer Bailey. Mets had first and third with nobody out and do not score. 3-1 Reds. R.A. Dickey will join us from the Mets dugout when we come back after a word from your local Fox station. comes to bat here in the top half of the third inning. A real pleasure to be joined by R.A. Dickey from down in the New York Mets dugout. Born and raised, still makes his home in Tennessee. And R.A. coming off that near no-hitter the other night. Boy, so close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was that's about as close as I've ever come.
On any level?
Outside of high school, which, at this you don't really count high school. We all have done something in high school.
Well, it's easy for you to say. Some of us never did anything in high school. But, your journey to get where you are now, it's been well documented. You have a book out there, Wherever I Wind Up. And starting, since you got out of college at the University of Tennessee, a U.S. Olympian, but all the stops in the minor leagues at different organizations before really landing with the Mets in 2010, where you won 11 games. And 3 years ago, would you have ever pictured you would be at least where you are right now to this kind of start?
Well, I don't know if I could have pictured it, but I sure hoped for it. I think that was one of the things that was always steadfast for me, is I held on to the hope that having committed to the knuckleball, that I could reap some benefits from that eventually, and try to just stick with it.
All right, you talked about that knuckleball, which we're all fascinated with, I think, with Tim Wakefield and you being the big knuckleballers lately. It looks like you know where it's going. Do you know where that thing's going when you're throwing it?
I wish I did. I think the thing I do know, and the thing that gives me the ability to throw it for strikes, is I know how high to start it, and I've worked very hard to try to get that. But I have an aiming point about 2 balls above the catcher's mask, that if I know if I can get it on that elevation, that it's going to fall somewhere in the strike zone usually, and that's what I try to do just about every pitch.
All right, I want to go back to the no-hitter, and everybody knows that Terry Collins thought the idea certainly should be looked into, that should be overturned. And Terry was very forthright, as he always is, as Zach Cozart has gone swinging to begin the Reds' third inning, saying, hey, look, I knew R.A. would be uncomfortable with this. I knew David Wright would be uncomfortable with this, but I feel like this guy threw a no-hitter. Did you feel odd about that whole set of circumstances trying to get that thing overturned?
Well, it certainly wasn't my idea. I did appreciate the Mets and Sandy and Terry thinking that it was a valid argument. But, in my own way, I kind of felt like it would have been cheap. And I'm kind of glad it ended up the way that it did. I'm certainly glad that they fought for me on it, and I appreciate it, though.
All right, what would it mean to you? I mean, you've had a great year. You've had an interesting journey here in the big leagues. What would it mean to you to be able to start the All-Star game this year?
Oh, wow. I don't know if I can really describe that. Just even the thought of making an All-Star team in the big leagues is pretty special. I think for me it would really give a legitimacy to all the hard work and, a lot of affirmation that the risks that I took coming up as, changing from a conventional pitcher to a knuckleballer has been well worth it. And I think for the pitch itself, the knuckleball is sometimes a pitch that a lot of people don't trust or a lot of people don't believe in. And if you're able to go to an all-star game throwing a knuckleball, then you kind of throw those things out the window.
3-1 to count on Wilson Valdez. Do you remember the moment you committed and believed in the knuckleball?
Yeah, I do, actually. When I got sent down from the big leagues with Texas in 2005, and they were kind of telling me, you're either going to be a knuckleballer or we're kind of done with you. Mm-hmm. Of course, I chose the knuckleball. And I went down there, and I remember my first outing ever was a 5-inning outing against the Iowa Cubs. I'll let you talk about that.
Go ahead. That's all right. Out number 2.
Yeah, against the Iowa Cubs, I pitched 5 innings, gave up 12 runs, all earned.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And that was my first outing ever as a starter with the knuckleball. And I remember thinking, what have I done here?
Well, here's some of your line the other night. 1 hit, 1 unearned run, the 12 strikeouts, no walks. Subtitle of your book, Wherever I Wind Up, in pursuit of the perfect knuckleball. Did you throw a perfect knuckleball that night?
Well, I think the thing that makes a knuckleball unique is that I don't know if you can throw a perfect knuckleball. I think what's been very rewarding for me is the process of trying to find a repeatable knuckleball. I mean, and when you find a consistent pitch, a consistent knuckleball, I should say, you found something valuable, because it's hard enough to control that thing. But if you can throw strikes with it, change speeds with it, change elevations with it, and you've got, you know, a possible 12 or 13 pitches in your repertoire there.
Well, all right, I know everybody is so happy for you because of the kind of guy that you are. It comes across immediately, even in our short time here on the air together. But, you know, the commitment that you and your wife and your family that you make to helping so many other people, and in your journey to get here. And we just want to thank you for taking the time to join us, and nothing but continued success. And we hope to see you right here on Fox in the All-Star game.
It's my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right. R.A. Dickey, what a start. He and Johan Santana have just been unbelievable for this Mets team so far this year.
And that's a big reason they're 5 games over 500. It's been their starting staff, Johan and R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey being the huge reason. And I tell you what, I've faced him before. That knuckleball added with that sinker is nasty.
Votto retired his first time up tonight and draws a walk here with 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Votto does a great job right there in that at-bat. Nice just kept trying to pick that outside corner, just like the pitch he struck him out on before, but was going a little bit more to try and get Votto to chase. And Votto just didn't chase and got a nice 2-out walk.
So now Brandon Phillips, he flied out to center field in the 1st inning. The Reds put the first 2 on in the opening frame against Nice, but then Jonathan retired Votto and Phillips, the 2 big bats of late in this Reds lineup. But then hung a breaking ball to Jay Bruce on an 0-2 pitch, and Bruce hammered it to the second deck in right field.
Well, that's the one thing. Votto's hot, Phillips is hot, Bruce is maybe starting to get hot. Now you get Jay Bruce hot, you got Votto, Phillips, Bruce. That's a pretty good combination there in the middle of the lineup for the Reds.
Well, we have a Twitter poll question for you here tonight, since we just had R.A. Dickey. Who should be the National League starter in the All-Star game? Right here on Fox. A, Dickey. B, Cole Hamels. Steven Strasburg. Or Lance Lynn of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tweet your vote to @MLB on Fox. Short hop pickup by Wright. Inning over. A man left. Middle of the 3rd. Reds 3, Reds 1. Mets come to bat 2, 3, and 4 in their batting order against Homer Bailey in the last of the third inning. The Reds with a 3-1 lead. Daniel Murphy doubled and scored the lone Mets run in the opening inning. Look out.
Just a little target, that one. Middle in fastball, try to get the bat head out there, a little late on it. Heads up over there in the dugout or the stands. That's dangerous.
Nearly the same spot. Murphy, of course, has been tried in the outfield. He's been tried at first base. It didn't work out either place. 2 years ago, they started working him in the minor leagues at second base. He got hurt. And last year was playing second base and was batting .320 prior to a left knee injury in August. So he had to rehab the entire offseason, and credits calls it a come to Jesus meeting with his mother to try and get his head back in the right place to get ready for this year. On the ground ball to Frazier, 1 out. Let's check in again with Matt Vasgersian for DirecTV Game Break.
Tommy, Florida and Tampa Bay. Familiar sight for Met fans. Jose Reyes beats James Shields for a 2-run base hit. The Marlins try to snap an 8-game losing streak against their interstate rivals. If you're calling yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. Back to Tommy and Sean.
Thank you very much, Matt. These Mets went in and clobbered the Rays the early part of the week. A 3-game sweep, scored 9 runs or more in every game against that very good Tampa Bay pitching staff.
Yeah, and they did a great job. Terry Collins was talking about it today, working counts, getting Price and those guys up in the pitch count, getting them out of the game early, getting into the bullpen, scored a lot of runs. It just showed that's the kind of ball the Mets have been playing all year. Walk, work counts, get on base, and then clutch hitting.
Well, you asked Terry Collins a question about, is that a philosophy in the entire organization? And he said, absolutely. We're telling guys out at the minor leagues, you might be a .310 hitter, but if that on-base percentage is .320, .330, you're not moving up.
Yeah, and you know what? There's another guy, too. When you look at Dave Hudgens. Dave Hudgens is the hitting coach over here in New York, and he was from the Oakland philosophy back in the day, and Sandy Alderson was with him. And when they went to get a hitting coach, when they brought in Terry Collins, they said, you know what, we're going to go get Dave Hudgens, because Hudgens' philosophy has always been work the count. I was talking to him today before the game, and I said, what are you telling these guys? And he said, I'm telling these guys early in the count, get a pitch you can drive, something you can hit, but don't make it a pitcher's pitch. Like right there, 3-1, look for a pitch you can keyhole, something middle in you can drive. David Wright takes it, now he's on base.
Well, now Lucas Duda, he popped up into short left field with a runner at second base, his only time up tonight. Duda, a 7th-round draft pick out of USC in 2007. They brought him up for about 2 weeks last year, really struggled, sent him back down to the minor leagues, came up for a couple of games, back to the minor leagues. And then when they brought him up, he proved to them with hits just like that why they should make him their everyday right fielder, and that they've done this season.
You know what? They love his power. They love his power, but they love his makeup. This guy can hit. Country strong. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Adam Dunn. Just a big, strong guy. And it's going to hit a lot of home runs up here in the big league. But right there, he got a pitch right out over the middle, something that Homer Bailey hung out over the plate. Lucas Duda did a great job of staying back, driving it to right.
Duda has now reached base safely in 19 consecutive games. And here's Ike Davis. Three runs, 3 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 5 hits for New York. It's a 3rd straight inning they put on 2 or more against Homer Bailey, but only 1 run to show for it. In the air, left center field. Ludwig will run it down. And the runners scurrying back to the bag, and Phillips decides not to cut it loose. Duda had circled the second base bag, had to touch it on the way back. Boy, good jump on that ball out there by Ludwig.
Great jump by Ludwig. Ike Davis takes a pitch down the middle. That's a frustrating, when you're struggling and you hit the ball like this left center, you want it to be a double right here. That ball's a tough pitch to drive. He hits it perfectly. Drives at the left center. Ludwig does a great job, gets a good jump on the ball. You watch Wright right here. He gets off. Duda says, you know what? I'm going to score too. Dave Wright says, get back. Ludwig caught the ball.
Now Hairston, he doubled down the left field line his first time up. Pretty evident here tonight that Homer Bailey does not have full command of all of his stuff.
He doesn't, and he's going to have to find a way to pitch. And I tell you what, one thing as a hitter, when you start to see a pitcher that doesn't have full command of his stuff, you can start eliminating pitches. If he can't throw his curveball for a strike, he can't bury it, okay, it's going to be out over the plate. He can't spot his fastball. Next thing you know, you start hunting that one pitch. And as a pitcher, you don't want to get stuck in that situation where hitters start hunting one pitch.
Well, he started Hairston with a first pitch breaking ball at the knees for a strike there. And misses with a fastball. Bailey, a no-nonsense sort of guy, grew up on a family farm, raising chicken, cattle in LaGrange, Texas. Doesn't make excuses. He'd be the first to tell you that, yeah, he's throwing a lot of strikes tonight, but not pitcher strikes where he wants them. But he will battle. This guy competes.
He will definitely battle. Great kid. When he first came up, I think he was just more of a thrower. You're starting to see the evolution of Homer Bailey becoming a better pitcher, like you see right there.
Got Hairston to climb the ladder there. And that's strand two. America, brought to you by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of Major League Baseball. And by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at your local Jaguar dealer.
That makes you want to be out on the boat right there, Flushing Bay, maybe out fishing right now, Tom. Maybe after the game, you need to go fishing.
I'm in. you have a boat out there, do you?
Oh,
or are we standing along the shore?
We're probably standing along the shore.
Yeah, probably right. And then thumbing a ride back into Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
Jay Bruce A 3-run home run to right field, his 15th home run this season. 44 now batted in for Bruce, and they put on the big shift defensively. And Bruce hit with a pitch. And again, that's another 2-strike mistake by Nice.
Right there, it was interesting to see they had the shift on, but they were pitching Bruce away. But right here, you see totally he wants the ball up and away. Nice ends up shooting it up and in. That catch his hand or maybe the bottom of the bat.
That was his hand.
Yeah.
But he appears to be okay.
Let's see right here. Close.
Talked about Scott Rowland, the Reds' regular third baseman, going out on a rehab assignment last night, had 1 hit and 3 at-bats for their AAA team in Louisville. He is playing again tonight and will meet the team in Cleveland, where he's expected to be not only activated but in the lineup at third. Now, Rowland, one of the real leaders on this club and a big reason why they won the 2010 National League Central Division title. But a lot of people have gotten very excited about the play of Todd Frazier. And Dusty Baker said he could be ticketed for left field. There's a base hit. In fact, the Reds this year with Frazier in the lineup at third base are a whopping 10 games over 500, 21 and 11.
Well, I think one thing you see with Todd Frazier, he's a dangerous hitter. He's a game changer. He's a guy that can change games. Right here, he gets a fastball, and Little Cutter does a great job of getting his barrel inside the ball and lining that to left field. But, hey, Dusty Baker knows what he has here. He knows when Scott Rowland comes back to play third, maybe there's a situation here where maybe you put Todd Frazier out in left field and you get him a chance to get every day at bats. And I think he's earned it so far.
Frazier very comfortable in the outfield. He has played there in minor league seasons out in left. But here's a guy who wants to keep that job, or at least a share of it, with the injured Chris Heisey, and that's Ryan Ludwig.
You saw Nice hit Bruce with the 1-2 fastball up and in, and then he gets Frazier 0-2 and can't put him away. And you saw earlier in the game he got Bruce 0-2, and he ended up hitting a 3-run bomb. Nice has to find that pitch, that put-away pitch right now that he doesn't have.
Good fastball there on the inside corner to get ahead 0-2. Trying to get him a chase of breaking ball, 1-2. The Reds were among the worst hitting teams with runners in scoring position in all of baseball. In fact, they're still in the lower third. But as they've been starting to swing the bats far better here in June, some of those numbers with runners on base are starting to turn the other direction.
Well, they're starting to get it going. They're starting to put up big offensive numbers, and that's why they're starting to make that run in the Central, running away from teams now 9 games over 500. Bake was saying if we could get to that 10-game mark and then above, and that's where they want to get to. But right now, they're starting to click on all cylinders offensively.
Two and two. Ball 3.
So this is where Nice, as a hitter, when you start nibbling and you bounce the ball a couple feet in front of the plate, as a hitter you start to say, okay, he doesn't really have anything to put me away. I can wait a little bit longer, let that ball travel a little bit longer, make some better decisions. And Ludwig's worked the count all the way back to 3-2.
Runners go 3-2. What a surprise that is. With a guy in Ludwig who has struck out a great deal this season.
Well, you got Bruce that runs pretty well right there, the double steal with Frazier. But you're right, with Ludwig, that could be a situation right there where you get to strike him out, throw him out. I think Dusty Baker's saying right now he doesn't think Nice has really had a put-away pitch all night. Maybe it's a good time right here with no outs, get the runners in motion and see if they can get a big inning here.
They go again 3-2, and a little flare into right field will play to run. So Ludwig puts the bat on the ball. Bruce scores. Frazier goes first to third, and the Reds lead goes to 4-1 And we go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network for a game break.
Tom, Red Sox and Cubs. Jared Saltalamacchia started the day 1 for his last 22, but that doesn't prevent him from dominating today, brother. 2-run home run against Jeff Samardzija, 12th of the year. Sox up early. Back to you guys.
Hey,
Tom,
Matt, I got to ask you now, are you guys not only imitating me, but also Casey and everybody else from back there?
I know he was imitating me.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do is imitate each other.
You guys are having a great time, aren't you?
I'm here by myself, Case. I don't know about you.
No, I'm with Tom. Having a great time.
Wow. The Sean Casey imitation from the MLB Network.
It sounded like Hulk Hogan. Is that what I sound like, Hulk Hogan?
Here's Devin Mesoraco, and it's ball 1 low. Runners on the corners for the rookie catcher, and he takes a fastball up under his hands to even the count.
You go back to Ludwig getting that single to right. I think that's what Bake has to be thinking. Nice has not been able to put guys away. Let's get the runners in motion and see what happens. Maybe something big happens. Ludwig was able to fist one over to right.
2-1. Fastball down and away, and Mesoraco comes up empty to even a count of 2-2. And much like the at-bat we talked about for Quintanilla back in the second inning when he popped up to the infield, the Reds want to get some tack-on runs here. This is a big at-bat for Mesoraco. 3-2.
Mesoraco is the key right here. You don't want to get Bailey up there if you're the Reds. You want to get Mesoraco to do something right here where he can get a pitch out over the plate and drive another run in right here.
Bailey waits in the on-deck circle. Still nobody out. A hit batsman and a pair of singles producing a run. And they're on the corners. And a broken bat pop-up to the shortstop. Ludwig was running and scrambles back to the bag. Good pitch there to saw off Mesoraco, made by Jonathan Nice.
Well, he made a pitch when he had to make it right there. You go back to Mesoraco and you look at the pitch sequence right here, what he was thinking. He goes a little fastball down, comes a fastball in. That's where he's been effective all day long, is in. Curveball, he hasn't been able to really throw it for strikes. Another fastball down, good fastball right there. He decides to go back to that curveball, gets 3-2, does a nice job right here, a little cutter inside, gets Mesoraco blown up there at the plate.
Now Homer Bailey showing bunt. Charging hard Davis. Likewise for David Wright. No sign of a bunt there. Check swing. They appeal down to first, and Vic Carapazza says no. Jim Reynolds calls the balls and strikes. James Hoy out at second, and the crew chief Jim Joyce, the umpire at third. Both Jim Joyce and James Hoy are native Buckeyes. Good bunt by Bailey. 2 are out.
Bailey does a nice job of getting it out front, getting it almost off the end of his barrel, which really deadens that ball. You saw the one earlier when Nice tried to bunt. He kind of got it on the barrel and hit a rocket back to Bailey. Right there, Bailey does a great job of deadening that ball. See where you catch it right there. Kind of at the end of the barrel, you almost catch the ball with the bat. Deadens it and allows him not to have any play at second base.
When's the last time you put down a bunt?
Oh, hello. Well, I was 0 for 4.
You were up there hacking.
Oh, yeah, I know. I had four bunts. Jack McKeon put them all on my second year in the big leagues.
Really?
0 for 4. I fouled out to the catcher twice, and 2 rocket double plays back to the pitcher. Those are the end of my bunting career.
Let the big man swing the bat.
Don't do that ever again.
What year was that?
1990, 98, 99. Then he said, "Don't do that ever again." You're obviously not.
You were raking after that. Here's Zach Cozart in there, strike 1-1. Of course, your '99 team with the Reds, you went to the one-game playoff against these New York Mets. for a trip to the postseason, and Al Leiter.
Oh.
He was on his game, shutting out your team at Riverfront Stadium.
Man, I work with Al at MLB Network too, and I remind him of that all the time. That I'm still not a big fan of his. Still don't really like him that much, even though I work with him. But I tell you what, that was one of those. What a great season! 96 wins, get all the way to that one-game playoff, and Al Leiter really pitched the game of his life and shut us down. And I'm never going to let Al ever live that down. I'll get him back one of these days, Reds fans.
Well, now Knees trying to finish off Cozart, and it's fouled out of play. Cozart, like R.A. Dickey, our guest earlier, born and raised, grew up in Tennessee, still makes his home down there. One-two pitch. Try to get a chase him to break a ball, and it's 2-2. That's an area where Knees has been exceptionally good this year. When guys get on base, and you brought up earlier, guys are going to get on base. But with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, teams are hitting 150 against him.
That's what he needs to do, is make that pitch. And he's done a great job all year long of, okay, a couple runners get on base, but making that pitch like to Mesoraca right there, a cutter inside, something that's tough to put into play, something that you can keep in the infield. But you're right, Knees has done a great job of that, of damage control.
Well, a pair of them in scoring position for the rookie Cozart. Reds leading 4-1. We're in the top of the 4th inning. And it's popped up. Davis gives chase. Out of play. Pretty good at bat here by Cozart, who's being asked to lead off in this his rookie year, but again only because of all the injuries they've had, and it started primarily with Rowland. When the season began, Cozart was batting in the 7th spot in the lineup, but he's been batting leadoff for the better part of a month and a half now.
It's a lot to ask for a rookie to lead off, but Zach's done a great job, and they really feel like they finally got their shortstop that's going to be here a long time, Zach Cozart.
That fastball just missed off the inside corner, or did it?
I think it's just wow, that's a good pitch. I think it's just inside, though, just off the plate. But Knees definitely wanted it.
Another 3-2 count. 9th pitch of the at-bat. He's coming in there again, and Cozart turns on it down the line. Did he get enough? And it is foul.
There's the tale of 2 pitches right there, Tom. The one's just in off the plate. This one is out over the plate. John Knees has got to avoid. That's what he did earlier on with Jay Bruce. Got in trouble with that curveball 0-2. But watch his plate. Catches the heart of the plate right here. Zach Cozart tries to keep it fair. Ends up pulling it foul, but just missed down the line.
Comes with a 3-2 breaking ball, and he's rung up on the appeal. So good work by Knees. After allowing a run with 2 on and none out, they strand 2. But the Reds lead 4-1. Prostate Cancer Foundation with the Home Run Challenge we're celebrating over the weekend. Visit MLBcommunity.org or HomeRunChallenge.org to learn more. Latter third in the Mets batting order against Reds right-hander Homer Bailey, who's had to work very hard to get through 3 innings and having allowed just 1 run. But a good start to the 4th. 1 out. In recognition of a 2012 Prostate Cancer Foundation Home Run Challenge, a group of very generous donors were in attendance prior to our game. Steve Sigler, Tyler Barth, Justin Slatke, Mark and Gregory Schenkman met with David Wright, Terry Collins, Sandy Alderson. The Home Run Challenge ensures that all the home runs hit during our game and through tomorrow on Father's Day will take on greater meaning. They have raised over $500 million going back to the start of the Prostate Cancer Foundation.
Well, Dave Perrin, all the guys that have spearheaded that, they wear the blue wristbands, the blue eye blue instead of the eye black. You wear the eye blue. It's such a great thing for prostate cancer awareness. It's a great thing those guys are doing.
One or two on Quintanilla. He was a big out for Bailey in that second inning when the Mets had him on the corners and nobody out. He popped up to Brandon Phillips. Denise was asked to put down a bunt. They got an out at second without the runner Hairston coming down the line from third, and then Bailey retired Neuenhuis on a pop up to left field. Slow roller, Bailey, the flip to Votto. Pretty nifty play there by Homer Bailey.
Great play right here by Homer Bailey. Another changeup, 85 miles an hour, gets Quintanilla out front. And Bailey does a great job. Votto gives him a little smirk right there, but Bailey does a great job of getting over here. Knows he's going to have to do a grab and flip all in one thing. And Votto said, nice play. Looked like he was going to slap it, didn't it, Tom? Looks like he was going to slap it to Votto, but realized right here, he looks like he's going to slap it, realize he can grab it all in one motion and give that flip. Almost like a first baseman reverse, first baseman to the pitcher. This time was the pitcher to the first baseman.
Back-to-back out, starting on ground balls to Bailey. This one by Bailey to Cozart, and a 1-2-3 fourth for Bailey. Reds bat in the 5th with a 4-1 lead. Presented by Budweiser. Today is the second to last day to donate to the Prostate Cancer Foundation Home Run Challenge. Any home run hit in tonight's game, we've had one already, means $16,000. We've raised more than $1.6 million for this cause over just the last week and a half. For more information, call 1-800-798-CURE. That's 2873. Or go online to pcf.org. First pitch swinging, Wilson Valdez. A liner to Duda, one out. Reds with a 4-1 lead as they bat against Jonathan Neese in the fifth inning. Votto struck out his first time up. Walked in the third.
That's one thing about playing here, which in Citi Field or when I was playing in Shea, you're trying to concentrate. You got these big jets flying over you, right in the middle of your at bat.
Was it a distraction?
It was a distraction. Yeah. You just hope they didn't fly in when it was bases loaded, two outs in the ninth.
Maybe they had a little pull over there at air traffic control. How did you hit in this ballpark?
I hit pretty well.
You hit well everywhere.
No,
You did.
This is my grandmother. The Mets are my parents are both from Long Island, New York, and this is my grandmother's favorite team. So I always felt like my grandmother was with me every time I played here. She had passed away right before I made the big leagues. I always felt like Nana Casey was with me every time I came to Shea Stadium.
One and two on Votto. And he got him swinging. Second time he struck out Votto tonight, who's been so hot.
You know, his pitch, Votto, tough all night. Even on the one he walked him, he had some tough pitches. But he's gone away tonight. There's that cutter right there just off the plate. Joey tried to wait as long as he could, but then you see that little tail right at the end, just darted off the plate. Great job by Jonathan Neese pitching to Joey Votto tonight.
Votto coming into this series had hit over 500 for the last nearly 3.5 weeks, spanning 21 games. He had a double his first time up last night and then got drilled by Dylan G in the ribs in the third inning here last night. Neither team thought much of it. Later in the game, David Wright got hit by left-hander Sean Marshall, and neither team thought anything of that. But Votto is 0 for his last 5 since getting hit. Brandon Phillips, a fly ball into right center field. Who wants it? It's Duda. And right through the heart of the order, Neese in 1-2-3 fashion. is sponsored by Chevrolet. Proud to support youth baseball in cities and towns across America. Kirk Newett ice to lead things off. Talked about him being a godsend for this Mets team for the injured Andres Torres. Grew up outside of Denver, Colorado, where he was a great high school football player. In fact, in a Colorado State championship game, he rushed for 267 yards. But he realized that the colleges that were heavily recruited him wanted him to go to wide receiver. He said he was watching a University of Colorado football game, and Mason Crosby, the kicker, now the kicker for the Green Bay Packers, came running out on the field. Crosby goes about 6'2", 220. And he said, if that's the kicker and how big they are, this game's not for me.
I think I'm going to go to baseball, hit a little round white ball in the gaps and track it down out there in the outfield. You know, talking to Dave Hudgens, and we were talking to Terry Collins, too, about this kid. They just love the fact this guy's a baseball player. He plays almost like a football player, the way he plays the game, how hard he plays, diving in the outfield, how he plays the game, running the bases. You know, if you're going to pay money, good money to come see a player play, this is the guy you want to come see play if you're a Mets fan.
Terry Collins said the one area we really need to improve upon is swinging and missing. You see among all major league rookies, number 1 in average, number 1 in runs, second most hits. On the ground to the right side, and Phillips will throw him out. Sean, can you teach guys, and I don't mean the big power guys, but I'm talking about guys that can run. And the Reds have a similar player in Drew Stubbs. Runs like the wind, but like New and Heights, swings and misses a lot. Do you believe you can teach a player to cut down on swinging and missing?
You know, I think you can cut down a little bit, but you also don't want to take away what makes them a good player. And I think sometimes you can get to the approach, okay, you run so well, if you get to 2 strikes, maybe choke up a little bit. Try and put the ball play pepper. Use your speed to get on base. But you see a guy like Drew Stubbs and New and Heights, these guys are going to punch out. You don't want to take the bat out of their hands either by making them just a Judy hitters.
Daniel Murphy pops up to Cozart, and there are 2 outs in the inning. Well, David Wright digging in. Been on base twice, a 5-time All-Star for New York. Has won the Gold Glove a couple of times down at third base. Their leader in a host of categories, including runs, doubles, runs batted in. He'll move up in every other category. You know, the Mets, unlike the New York Yankees over in the Bronx, have never, and the key word is never, had a player, a star player, I mean a perennial all-star player, who started his career with the Mets, played his entire career with a team, and retired as a Met. Will David Wright be that guy? The team has an option on him looking ahead to 2013. Been a lot of talk lately about, locking up Wright to a long-term deal. He's 29 years old, but the Mets don't have to do that right now.
It would be great to see them do it. I can't imagine David Wright in another uniform. I'll tell you what, the biggest compliment Terry Collins said today was, and I said, how do you get these guys playing so hard? They're all out there grinding out. He said, you know what? When your star player is your hardest worker and leads by example, it's pretty easy to make these other guys go out there and play that way.
Of course, you saw that jersey in the stands. Barry Larkin, the great red shortstop. Larkin played his whole career in Cincinnati. In fact, he was born and raised there, went to Moeller High School there. But he'll be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame next week, or next month, I beg your pardon.
July 22nd. I'm going up there.
Oh,
Cooperstown, yeah.
Your main man.
My main man, Barry Larkin's going in.
What a player, boy.
What a great player. What a great guy. Talk about a great leader.
I mean, Larkin could have played anything. He could have been a football player. He was recruited by everybody to play football. Great basketball player. And obviously a Hall of Fame baseball player.
I used to love the story Larkin used to tell. I mean, look at this. MVP, World Series champion, going in the Hall of Fame, well-deserving, 12-time All-Star. Bo Schembechler used to come to practice in Michigan and yell, "You're a bum, Larkin, for not playing football. You're a bum."
Right away center field. Valdez backpedaling and able to get to it to retire the side. That's 8 straight now retired by Homer Bailey. And a 5-4-1. Reds on top. The 2012 Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by MasterCard, shop and pay your bills online with MasterCard prepaid cards. Four runs, 5 hits for Cincinnati, 1 run, 5 hits for New York. Jay Bruce leads off the Reds' 6th inning against Jonathan Nice. Bruce has been on base twice. A 3-run home run in the first inning. And Jay Bruce was indeed the stronger one. Well, Bruce the stronger one in that at bat, brought to you by Mazda. Better, stronger, smarter. That home run by Bruce was the first home run by a left-handed batter against Nice this year. Got him swinging to begin the 6th. And that's 7 of them in the game for Nice.
And that's what Nice was trying to do that last at bat when he ended up hitting Bruce. The 1-2 fastball up and away, ended up coming in up and in. But he's done a great job against Votto and Bruce tonight, staying away. But right here, he tries to climb the ladder. He got him 2 pitches away, climb the ladder up, get it as a hitter. That ball looks so good right there. 2 strikes, and he got Bruce to swing at it. Great job by Jonathan Nice. Great pitch sequence right there against Jay Bruce.
So now Todd Frazier, he is struck out and singled to left field. Frazier, not only the Little League World Series hero from Toms River, he played collegiately at Rutgers. An extremely popular guy inside of his clubhouse. You brought up earlier, great personality, fun to be around.
I mean, if you're around Todd Frazier, you can't help but to have a good time. This guy will make you smile all day long. And we had him on earlier on MLB Network on an interview a couple weeks ago, and it was just great how his personality came through. He's just a great, great guy.
Behind the bag, Davis. And their first 2 retired by Nice here in the 6th.
And he's wearing number 21, the number I used to wear. I say, wear it with pride. Frazier, let's go. And he does.
I'm surprised they haven't retired number 21.
Well, I'm not Barry Larkin. You know what I mean? And all those guys, Johnny Bench. You got to be really. I was good. You got to be really, really good to get number retired.
Yeah, they've got guys like Frank Robinson and Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench and Davey Concepcion. Those are the guys that are.
They were a little better than I was.
Well, you will be heading to the Reds Hall of Fame 1 week from tomorrow, a huge, just glorious induction ceremony they have in downtown Cincinnati. 3-time All-Star with the Reds. You initially came up with the Cleveland Indians. They traded you to Cincinnati. And boy, what a career you had there, on and off the field.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom, it went by so fast. I remember Ray Knight telling me my 3rd year in the big leagues, hey, enjoy this, guys, because it goes by fast. And I thought, no, I'll be playing for the rest of my life. I loved my time there in Cincinnati. I have so many great memories. I'm so humbled to be going into the Hall of Fame next week with all those great players that have played in that organization.
Fly ball in a short right field, and Duda will get to it, and that will retire the side. Have you written your speech yet, yay or nay?
Oh, yeah, I'm writing it right now.
Right now?
No, I've written it and writing it.
Astros and Rangers, and Jordan Schaefer making it a 3-0 lead for the upstart Astros in the middle of the night. How about the Orioles and Braves? Baltimore right-hander Jason Hamill took a no-hit bid into the 8th in his first start as a Bird in April. He's through 6 without a hit in Atlanta tonight. We're keeping on top of it. Back to Flushing.
Matt Vasgersian, thank you very much. Mets bat against Homer Bailey, last of the 6th inning. Reds 4, Mets 1.
Yeah, every time I'm on with Matt Vasgersian, he's always imitating you. Whenever
yeah, I know. I've been hearing it for a decade.
That's great.
You know, if you're going to imitate somebody who's good, right?
Yeah, you're good.
You're like John Miller. I mean, you know, he imitates Vin Scully. He imitates somebody who's good.
Hey. Highest form of flattery is imitation, right? There you go.
And there a strike to Duda, leading things off here in the 6th. Bailey has settled in nicely. He's retired the last 8 since a single to Duda in the 3rd. Right in the back.
You know, you hear a lot of boos right here. Obviously don't think this is intentional. He just pulls us to the side, ends up hitting Duda in the back. The Mets fans might have thought it was, but it definitely wasn't.
Of course, Jay Bruce was hit on a 2-strike pitch, which I don't think anybody felt was intentional either.
I don't think Homer Bailey really wants to hit anybody here. Bottom of 6, you got a 4-1 lead, nobody out. You're not looking to put the leadoff guy on by pegging him.
Off the end of the bat, a soft liner into right field by Davis. So a hit batter and a little floater And the Mets are in business. Tying run coming to the plate.
You know, you talk about that one bat that the Mets don't really have that those big bats that can give you that 3-run bomb. This is the one guy. If Ike Davis can get going and really get his swing back and swing the way he's been swinging this last week or so, that's a bat right there that's a game changer. And you saw the at-bat before when he drove that one to left center. Looks like he's starting to get it and figured out and start getting his swing back a little bit. But, you know, right here, he rocking that one to left center in the last at-bat. This one, that ball's out off the plate, a pitch Homer Bailey liked, but Ike Davis does a great job of kind of getting around it, getting off the end, and it's a line drive in the book.
Due to the runner at second, Davis at first, and here's Hairston, who doubled to left field in the second. He stranded 2, striking out in the third. Fly ball into right center field. That's easy for Bruce. And no way Dude is thinking about tagging on that arm. That might be the best right field arm in either league.
He has got an absolute cannon. And you know what? Dude knew that too. He was just trying to bait the throw. But Jay Bruce has become some kind of right fielder. He's got a cannon. He's smiling about it right here. Don't even think about it.
That is the one thing, and having the chance to watch the Reds regularly as Tolle steps to the plate. Well, when they have Rowland at third, Drew Stubbs in center, and whether it's Heisey or Ludwig in left, it is hard to believe there would be a better defensive club in either league. Young, very athletic.
And you talk about how fast Stubbs is really covering those gaps. Then that leaves Bruce a little bit of the right center gap to the line. They cover it so well, that outfield. And you're right, Tom. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better outfield defensively in the big leagues.
And that's low to Tolle at 2 balls and no strikes. Miguel Batista, the Angels one.
Wow.
Continues to get loose in the bullpen.
Many at-bats against Miguel Batista. I can't believe he's still pitching. He's still getting it done. He's got that cutter he loves to throw. It's still effective.
Onisa's spot. Here's a ground ball, and this should be a double play to end the inning, and it will be on the tag by. No, they say Votto missed the tag, and Votto's not arguing. Boy, that's a double play that should have been turned after having just talked about this Reds defense. The 3-time Gold Glove winning second baseman makes a poor throw.
Taylor-made double play. Brandon Phillips always usually makes that play right there. Looks like Joey missed the tag. He might not have had to have come off the base right there. That throw is not that far away from first base, but obviously you don't question Joey Votto. He knows what he's doing over there, obviously. But Tolle does a great job at getting down the line. That's why you hustle down the line every time for a play like that. If he's not hustling, Votto makes that tag. But Brandon Phillips just got it up the line. Good call right there, too, at first base.
The Mets are given an extra out here in the inning. And Quintanilla trying to take advantage of it. He has popped up and grounded out. Ball 1. Pitcher spot next. Jorjani Baudespin is standing in the on-deck circle for the time being.
This is a situation right here. If you're Brandon Phillips, you're just hoping that anytime you make an error that could end the inning, you just are hoping that pitcher can pick you up, make a pitch, and get out of this without any runs crossing the board.
Short left field, and Cozart runs it down to retire the side. So Bailey pitches around the poor throw. We're back after a word from your local Fox station. Budweiser. Welcome back to New York. Reds 4, Mets 1. Cincinnati bats here in the 7th, and Jonathan Neese still out there. Miguel Batista continues to throw in the New York bullpen. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 in the Reds batting order, and Homer Bailey, for the time being, is standing in the on-deck circle. Although the Reds have that Sean Marshall, a left-hander, beginning to lightly throw out there in their bullpen. It is.
Besides that, yeah, that is Marshall right there. Besides that one mistake to Bruce, and that first in that 0-2 hanging breaking ball, Neese has really settled in. It's that as some situations where he had to make a pitch. He's done a great job tonight. It was really that one pitch to Bruce in the first.
You know, began with hitting Bruce in the 4th. He allowed a single to Frazier, a hit and run RBI single to Ludwig. There's a hard hit ball and knocked down by Quintanilla, but that's a base hit for Mesoraco. But then the Reds had runners at first and third, and he reeled off 9 in a row retired before that base hit. Well, now it's time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Just as the Reds have counted on Homer Bailey, you can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. Well, that bunt gets down. But lucky for the Mets that the catcher was standing right there to get Mesoraco on a force out.
That really turned out to be best case scenario right there for the Mets. Get the pop up, freezes Mesoraco at first base. Watch, Mesoraco can't go, obviously, because it's a pop up. Ike can't make the play, but Tolley does a great job of throwing to second base, getting the lead runner.
Well, Marshall has taken a seat out in the Reds bullpen. He never even took off his sweatshirt out there. Bailey has thrown just 80 pitches in 6 innings tonight.
He's really pitched great. Homer Bailey's really had a nice night. And you know what? He's done a great job when he's gotten in trouble, just like John Neese has too, of pitching out of jams and making a pitch when he's had to make it tonight.
Big disparity between the two as far as pitch efficiency is concerned here tonight. Both teams have 6 hits. But Neese up over 100 pitches, and we mentioned Bailey right at 80. .110 now for Neese. Nice play by Wright. And he'll get the force out on Bailey. Well, he's made a couple of dandies here tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got those cat leg reflexes over there at third base. David Wright just has great hands. Watch this play right here. Does a great job, composes himself, turns, gets his feet set. Nice throw over there to Murphy. Knowing that Homer Bailey's running, knowing he has some time. He's special. He's been special over there for a long time at third base, and he makes some sweet plays like that night in and night out here in Citi Field.
Wilson Valdez, 1 of 3, a bunt single, scored in the first inning, has since bounced to the mound and lined to right. Foul ball. You know, Sean, over at MLB Network, you get to see a lot of games, all the teams around Major League Baseball. And when you look at this National League East, well, for a while there, everybody was playing right at 500 or above 500 until recently when Miami and the Phillies have fallen on some tough times. So look at the New York bullpen, Burdack joining Batista. How do you see this thing playing out?
I'll tell you what, the Washington Nationals are for real. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the pitching that they have, the trade for Gio Gonzalez, they're a special team.
All right, hold that thought. We'll get back to the National League East when we return. A man left, they stand and stretch. 4-1 Reds. Prudential. Prudential, bring your challenges. And by the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. Homer Bailey toes a rubber here in the last of the 7th inning, and the night is over for Jonathan Nies. Outside of that mistake on an 0-2 pitch for a 3-run home run to Jay Bruce in the opening inning. Boy, did Nies pitch a nice game here tonight. But of course it counts. 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Probably shaking his head thinking about that breaking ball. Fan 7, walked 1 and hit a batter.
That's the one pitch he wants back tonight, is that breaking ball to Bruce, especially because it's 0-2. He wanted to bury it down in the dirt, ended up leaving it up out over the plate. But Jonathan Nies had a great night tonight. Other than that pitch, he had a great night. But you're right, Tom, it does count.
So now this game belongs to Bailey. Jordani Valdestein leads off here in the New York 7th inning. And Sean, you have seen Homer Bailey pitch. I think it is safe to say that he has been pitching tonight with far less than his best stuff. And that's perhaps saying something about a young man who just turned 26 years old.
Well, I think that's the evolution of a great big league pitcher. Of guys that pitch up here in the big leagues, night in and night out, you're going to get 30 starts, Tom. You're not going to have your best stuff every night, but to stay up here and be a great pitcher up here, you got to find ways to get outs, find ways to make pitches. And Homer Bailey's done a great job tonight of finding ways to get out of trouble and make pitches when he's need to.
2-1 to Valdestein, and there's a fastball strike. Jordani had a big night down in Tampa earlier in the week during that 3-game sweep, knocked in 4 runs in a game. And you're starting to see here, Bailey, something Dusty Baker talked about. You know, finally being healthy for an extended period of time. Earlier starts, Bailey might start running out of steam late. That last fastball at 94 miles per hour. He's seen more of that in recent starts, stronger as the game goes on.
Well, he was also talking about maybe taking a look at Verlander when they played the Tigers recently. Look at Verlander. He gets stronger as the game goes on. A guy like Homer Bailey has that good arm. He's saying, hey, listen, you start getting to the 6th, 7th inning, 8th inning, now you really got to maybe hump up a little bit and make some pitches and stay in that 93, 94 mile per hour range. And Homer Bailey in these last few starts here has done a great job of that.
Dusty Baker celebrated his 63rd birthday yesterday. And on his birthday, his team won the game to put him a season high 9 games over 500 and put him a season high 4 games in front of the NL Central. Not a bad birthday.
That's a great birthday.
Served into left field. 1 out. Well, coming up next month, the biggest event of the summer, baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with a 2012 All-Star Game. July the 10th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on Fox. Terry Collins has already been chosen to be a coach under National League manager Tony La Russa, who will indeed come back to manage that game despite the fact that he stepped away from managing after winning the World Series. Congratulations to Terry. He's very deserving.
Oh, he's very deserving. Terry Collins has done such a great job with this club. Like we talked about in the opening, his handprint is on this club. The way Terry Collins plays the game, the way that he wants these guys to play. He's old school, grind it out, hustle everything out, play the game hard. These guys are young kids. They're impressionable. And Terry Collins is the perfect manager in this situation for the New York Mets to have these young kids playing hard and playing the right way.
Well, right there in the middle of your screen, the Reds have an all-star already, and that's Paul Lessard. He has been chosen to be the head trainer for the National League All-Star team. Congratulations to Paul Lessard.
Well, that's great. Paulie's one of the best in the business. I was with him in Boston in 2008, one of the best trainers out there, great communicator. But congratulations, Paul. That's a great honor to go to the All-Star game.
Well, if you're wondering about the National League voting and how's it going, see Votto there. The only player in the league with more votes than Votto is Matt Kemp. David Wright leading down at third base. Dan Uggla in a tight race with Brandon Phillips. And I'm sure Mets fans see Carlos Beltran and the kind of year that he is having, and wondering, had Beltran only stayed healthy through most of that big contract here.
I think that was the big thing with Beltran, is he couldn't stay healthy. He just could not stay on the field. And you see when he's healthy and he's able to go out there and get consistent bats night in and night out, he's going to put up big numbers.
New and Ice 0 for 3 is struck out, popped to left, and bounced to Phillips. Pulled the string on him there.
You know, he's done a nice job, Tom, these last few innings of really going to that changeup, pulling the string on those guys. Has had a lot of guys out in front and hitting a few numbers. And right there you saw him get Neuenhuis out in front, swing and miss. But right here, watch the action right here on this changeup. Look at the arm action. As a hitter, Neuenhuis says, okay, that's a fastball. No, it's not. That's a little changeup that has good late action away. Gets Neuenhuis out front.
He just chewed up Murphy on that roller to Votto, and Homer Bailey, a 1-2-3 seventh inning. 6-hit, 1-run baseball. We're off to the 8th. Reds lead by 3. Is presented by Budweiser. June the 16th, 1978. Tom Seaver, wearing a Reds uniform, throws his first career no-hitter. So many times flirted with a no-hitter that were broken up in the 9th inning as a New York Met. Greatest Met of them all, Tom Seaver, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, all-time leader in everything that matters. Traded to Cincinnati, where he is a member of both the Reds and the Mets Hall of Fame. And, of course, a baseball Hall of Famer in '92.
Where were you when he threw that no-hitter, you remember? Was that one of those moments when you're...
I was 14 years old. And I know where my dad was. He was calling that game that night.
I know he was there. I'm sure you were watching somewhere, though.
You know, I'm not sure about that. Tim Burdack takes over on the mound, and he's in to face Joey Votto. But I love Tom Seaver. Who didn't?
Oh, man, he's flat out nasty. Go back and watch Tom Seaver with the stuff that he had.
No. And what a guy. Funny guy. Votto stings one into right field. They bring in Burdack to face him, and he has his first hit tonight.
Votto now 6 for 11 off Tim Burdack. Pretty impressive.
Jordani Valdespin stays in the game to play second base, part of a double switch with Burdack in the game. You know, what's interesting to note is today is the anniversary of that no-hitter. Yesterday was the 35th anniversary of Tom Seaver being traded to the Reds. So he was traded on June the 15th, 1977. 1 year later in 78, threw the no-hitter against the St. Louis Cardinals. He had 5 one-hitters for the New York Mets. And, of course, they had never had a no-hitter in franchise history until Johan Santana, ironically enough, did it against the St. Louis Cardinals.
What a moment for New York Mets fans when Johan Santana threw that no-hitter tonight. What a moment really for baseball, but just such a great moment. First no-hitter ever in this franchise's history. And for Johan Santana to come back this season after being out all last year to do it here in Citi Field was pretty cool.
And a great moment for Mike Baxter. He grew up in Whitestone, Queens, going to Mets games as a kid. He saved that no-hitter with that great play out in left field. And that ball's ripped into left field by Brandon Phillips. And Votto will put on the brakes. Reds have 2 on with nobody out. First day of this month. 8,020 games in this, the 50th year of Mets baseball. There's the play by Baxter. He was injured on the play and has not come back since. David Freese, a final out. 8 strikeouts, 5 walks. Should note the San Diego Padres are now the only team to never have thrown a no-hitter.
I think Mike Baxter will take it too. If you had told him there's going to be an injury, but you're going to get hurt, but there's going to be a no-hitter, he'd take it every time. This will be the first no-hitter in Mets history. Crashing the wall for us. If you have to get hurt, it's okay.
That's why it had such special meaning to Baxter. All the years growing up as a little boy right down the road and cheering for the Mets. And to make that catch. Jay Bruce looks at a breaking ball and there, a strike. Fouled out of play, and you know, you think about all the pitchers that went on to throw no-hitters that used to be in the Mets organization. Look at some of these names. Nolan, 7 of them. Mike Scott did it in Houston. Doc Gooden, David Cohn with the Yankees. Hideo Nomo, and of course this year Philip Humber with a perfect game for the White Sox.
You look at those first 2 guys, though. Nolan Ryan, the fact that Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver were 2 of the greatest pitchers ever. It's amazing they didn't throw a no-hitter with the Mets at some point.
I should note that not only was Humber's a perfect game, David Cohn's was a perfect game. Two to Bruce. Swing and a miss.
You notice, since obviously that first pitch they were trying to go, that first at bat when Bruce went deep with that 3-run homer, they've stayed away from him all night long. And I'll tell you what, when Jay Bruce has been scuffling a little bit lately, when he scuffles, he tries to pull everything. And so what they're trying to do right here is they're trying to hit that outside corner and really make him roll over on it. But they've done a great job tonight. Jonathan Neese did a great job after that first at bat of really staying away from Bruce.
So they get through a couple of left-handers, and now they'll go to the bullpen with 2 on and 1 out. Back in a moment. Still pitching well after all these years, Miguel Batista.
It's absolutely amazing. And, he's really lived on a great cutter. And it makes you think of Mariano Rivera, who's lived all these years on that one pitch, that cutter. And Miguel Batista has really not have Mariano Rivera's career, but he's still around because he's still making effective pitches in the big leagues.
I remember going back to 2001, shortly after 9/11, that electrifying World Series played between the Yankees and the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Miguel Batista shutting out the Yankees through 7 innings. In Game 3, only to watch the Yankees storm back in both Games 3 and Game 4, then won Game 5. Arizona won Game 6 when they went back to the desert. Batista came in out of the bullpen in Game 7 following Schilling in front of Randy Johnson. And here we are 11 seasons later, and he's still pitching in the big leagues.
Isn't that amazing? That's absolutely amazing. And one of the greatest World Series maybe in the history of the game, that 2001 World Series.
No doubt about it.
In the history of baseball. But I tell you what, he's got a passion for the game. He's a brilliant guy as far as reading all the books and all. You've seen all the stories and stuff. But he just loves baseball, and he's still effective, and he's still doing a great job. 41 years old.
Two on, 1 out. 2-1 to Frazier. Fastball high. So he's still got some life to that arm, too.
Oh, he does. There's good life here. But I tell you what, this is a situation with Frazier right here. You got first and second, 3-1 count. You got to look for a pitch right here. You can drive something middle in. You want to try and drive something here and get your pitch.
Walked in ball 4 up and in, and they are loaded for Ryan Ludwig, who has one of 3 Cincinnati Grand Slams this season. Well, as good as this Cincinnati bullpen has been this year, and it's been the best in the entire National League virtually since the start of the season, you can ill afford to be giving up much more than this current 3-run deficit. Because when the Reds start opening that bullpen gate, there's not a lot of hits by the opposition. They've had a couple of meltdowns like everybody will, but outside of that, they have been lights out.
If you're Miguel Batista right here, you have to try and find a way to not let the floodgates open right here. But that Reds bullpen, hey, that's why the Reds have been so good. Their starting pitching has been better. Obviously, Johnny Cueto, Homer Bailey, Matty Latos coming on. But that bullpen has been awesome. Then you put Chapman in the closer's role. He's been lights out. Dusty Baker has some great options out there, and now they're starting to swing the bats.
1-1 on Ryan Ludwig. They're loaded with 1 out. Fastball up and in. I mean, look at these numbers. And this is without 3 members they thought they would begin the season with. Remember, they brought in Ryan Madson to be their closer. He never threw a pitch for him, and undergoing Tommy John surgery. They're hoping to get left-hander Bill Bray back as early as next week. And Nick Massett is not far behind. If those two come back healthy, this is going to be a very difficult team to beat if they have a lead at the end of 5 or 6 innings.
Well, they're already first. How do they get any better? And getting those guys back, maybe they even get that much better.
Double play ball here. How about Miguel Batista? Slamming the door on a would-be rally. So it's still a 3-run game. Let's have the heart of the order coming up in the 8th. a better way forward. And by DirecTV, if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Of course, the NFL season right around the corner. Sean Casey, I know you're hunkered down watching DirecTV. You're a big football guy.
Oh, got to get my fantasy football team going. I'm awesome, too.
Oh, come on.
Me and my buddy Justin Lambert, we dominate.
Are you the owner? Are you the GM? What are you?
I call my buddy. I'm like, what are we doing this week? I got 4 kids. You have 1.
Homer Bailey, 93 pitches. And he will begin the top half of the 8th inning. Wright, Duda, Davis. 3, 4, and 5, and there's strike 1. Well, there you see the confidence in this game growing for Bailey. First pitch off speed for a strike. Very impressive night. Comes back with a fastball and beats Wright there to get ahead 0-2.
You see a different thing from Homer Bailey this year, too, as far as his demeanor on the mound. Anytime you're a hitter and you look out at that pitcher, you're waiting for him to slouch his shoulders. You're waiting for him to look and see if he's not too confident against you. Homer Bailey tonight, when he's gotten in some situations he had to get out of, he still kept that demeanor where you knew he had a lot of confidence.
It's a very, very young Reds rotation. You have Bailey, who just turned 26. Her ace, Johnny Cueto, just turned 26. You've got Matt Latos and Mike Leake, each 24. And the only reason the average age bumps up to 27 is because Bronson Arroyo, a big part of their rotation, off to a great start this year, is 35.
Bronson Arroyo, now a wily vet. It's amazing. Average age 27 years old. The future's bright in Cincinnati as far as the rotation goes.
Well, he got ahead 0-2. Now he sort of nibbled around a little bit. Arroyo pitched a very good game here last night. You see Leake to your left, former #1 pick, and then Nick Massett on the men there to the right. In the air, deep right center field, but that's a big part of the ballpark. Still plays big, even with moving the fences in at Citi Field this year. 1 out.
Well, that's where his bread and butter is. We saw him drive one to right today. But let's look back at the pitch sequence here with Homer Bailey. First pitch right there, fastball, middle of the plate. Does a good job, too, kind of getting in there. Wright can't get his arms extended. Another fastball away again. Comes back with a breaking ball, leaves it up a little bit. Another breaking ball right here, trying to get him to chase. And then he leaves the ball down over the middle of the plate, but Wright just misses getting that out of the park, right center. You know, you look, he's at 100 pitches, but the great thing about Homer Bailey tonight has been his secondary pitches. He's commanded the fastball, and he's had his breaking ball and his changeup working for him.
Judas popped up to left, had a single in the right, was hit by a pitch. They have Marshall down there, and more than likely ready just in case perhaps Duda gets on. There's a lazy fly ball to right. Boy, Bailey is just chewing this lineup up tonight after some struggles early in the game.
And you see, too, he's starting to work fast. He's challenging him with that fastball. He's getting him out front with the changeup. But he's coming right at these hitters tonight.
Bailey gave up 5 hits in the first 3 innings. He has allowed 1 hit since, and that was a broken bat off the end of the bat. Little flare into right by the man who bats right now, Ike Davis. Sam LeCure, a right-hander. A little bit of a surprise in a game like this to see LeCure getting loose. They've used their 2 primary right-handers down there in situations like this. Arredondo. There's a fly ball into deep center field. Valdez being chased back. He'll run it down. Bailey, 8 innings of 1-run baseball. Will he get a chance to finish this thing? We'll know shortly. son Darren to the National Museum of the United States Air Force. It is a spectacular venue if you ever have a chance to take your family. Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Of course, Dusty himself served in the military for 6 years. And we'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world watching our broadcast tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. We can't thank you enough for what you do. God bless you all. Be well. The greatest country in the world. Two and one on Devin Mesoraco. What a job by Miguel Batista. He came in with 2 on and 1 out. Walked the first batter he faced to load him up. But got Ryan Ludwig to bounce into a double play. And keep it a 3-run game. Second broken bat tonight by Mesoraco. That's that cutter.
Yeah, that was a nasty. That almost looked like a sinker right there. He looked nasty. Late movement really blew up Mesoraco right here. But that's one thing about Batista. He has the cutter and the sinker. They're both late movement. Well, watch right here. Mesoraco goes, this is a little two-seamer in on his hands, and that just catches right above the fingers. And that hurts. Mesoraco feels like his thumbs are in the batter's box right now. I've been there.
His thumbs are in the batter's box?
Yeah, you come back and say, hey, can someone go get my thumbs for me? They're in the batter's box.
Willie Harris began the year on the Reds opening day roster, was sent down. They just brought him back up yesterday when they placed Drew Stubbs on the disabled list. So he's batting for Bailey. 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. 5 of the 6 hits came in the first 3 innings when the Mets stranded 5 runners. Could not get that big hit that you thought would be our forward key to the game tonight.
Well, that's what I thought at the beginning there. If they could get that hit, then they could maybe get Homer Bailey out of that game. But they allowed him, the Mets allowed Homer Bailey to settle in, and he really took this game over. He really pitched great tonight, pitched great in situations where he needed to make a pitch, and he really had all his pitches working.
They have the flame-throwing closer, left-hander Aroldis Chapman now throwing in the Reds bullpen. Now Sam LeCure is throwing alongside of it, just in case this lead were to be extended.
If you're the Mets and you look out at that pen and you see Chapman warming up, that's never a good thing for the Mets. You don't ever want to see 101, 102 miles an hour from the left side.
Of course, one of the rare instances where this Reds bullpen.
There's that cutter right there.
Yep.
See that backdoor cutter? That's almost an unhittable pitch right there. Here's that backdoor cutter. This is why he's 41 years old and still getting it done. Watch this tail. Look at that zip right there. Outside corner. Willie Harris, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams. No one can pull the trigger on that pitch.
So 2 are out, and now Zach Kozart. Kozart 1 out of 4. Got the Reds off and running with a single to start the game and scored on the 3-run home run by Bruce. Strike 1. Two and 0. I'd like to send out a happy early Father's Day to my dad. He had this road trip off.
Oh, see.
Not coming to New York or Cleveland. So, Dad, voice of the Reds now 39 years. Happy Father's Day. I love you. Miss you being here.
He was a great man right there.
Well, a great man. You called him cantankerous.
I know I did, but that was back when I was playing. He was, being a little negative one night. I called him cantankerous.
He reminds you of that to this day every time he sees you. Do you think he's cantankerous now?
He's getting better. Yeah, he's still cantankerous.
Mets bat in the ninth, down 3. play of the game. In the first inning on an 0-2 count with 2 on and 2 out, Neese hung him a breaking ball in, and he whacked it to the second deck to put the Reds in front 3-0. They have a 3-run lead now, as Bruce will watch Aroldis Chapman went to spring training battling for a spot in the starting rotation, but wound up in the bullpen after Ryan Madsen and Nick Massett, along with Bill Bray, were injured during the spring. He went his first 24 games this year, spanning 29 innings, and did not allow a single run. He then went 3 games in a row starting last week, where he gave up a run. 1, 2, then 1, before throwing a perfect inning here last night. He is the most dominating pitcher in Major League Baseball. Does that mean he's great every time out? No, but he is the most dominant. He has at least 1 strikeout in all 28 appearances. 20 times has struck out at least 2 or more.
You want to talk about the obvious. This is major overpowering stuff. You don't see this kind of arm even at the big league level. That's why whenever he comes to the mound, you always want to take a look at that radar gun to see if he can get in that triple-digit range.
It's only the 6th time all year long as he starts out 95 for ball 1. The Chapman has pitched on back-to-back days. They are extremely careful on how and when to use him, and this is his first year as a closer. He didn't take over in that role until the Reds were here in New York when they beat the Yankees 2 out of 3 about a month ago.
It looks like this year too he's been taking a little bit off that fastball to get strike 1 and humping up when he really needs to close out the game.
Second best ERA. Number 1 is Brad Lincoln of the Pirates, but now he's in their rotation. And strikeouts, it's just off the charts. At the knees at 95. The Reds still believe that beginning next year, Chapman is headed back to the starting rotation.
Wow, I mean, I think when I look at Chapman, that's got, for me, that's got closer written all over it. He's 2-pitch pitcher with a fastball slider. That's all you really need in that role. And he's so dominant in it.
That's 1 out. We'd like to thank Brandon Phillips, the always colorful Reds second baseman, wearing a microphone for us tonight. Let's listen in our Fox sounds of the game.
Today's a good day to get famous. In a good way or a bad day? Yes. I got you. I love you too. I smell good too. You smell me? I know you smell me. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Got that Texas Pete going. That Texas Pete, that hot sauce.
Great stuff.
That's great stuff right there.
First pitch slider in their strike. Vinny Rotino. Name like Rotino here in New York. I mean, it's got to be a New York guy, right?
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah, he's from Racine, Wisconsin.
He's crushing Italian here in New York. There's no doubt about it.
One and one with 1 out here in the 9th inning. There's another slider. Chapman normally throws that slider anywhere from 87 up to 91, 92 miles per hour.
You know, as a hitter, when a pitcher has that kind of slider, it's just too late. You start swinging and that thing just leaves you. That's why he's so effective. He's got that upper 90s, 100-mile-an-hour fastball with a slider that's 91 miles an hour.
He has already thrown more sliders to the first 2 batters in this inning than he's probably thrown combined in the last month. He had virtually just said, if I'm the closer, I'm throwing the gas. But then after realizing that no matter how hard you throw it, there are going to be some guys that can hit it. That one at 98. That going back to the slider and a little bit of the changeup again may not be a bad idea.
Right, look at him dial it up right here. He's been 95, 95. He says, you know what, we're going to put you away right here, Rotino. Upper 98 and climbs the ladder on him. That's a tough pitch right there. Especially as a hitter, when you're hunting the fastball and it's up a little bit, it looks so good, especially with 2 strikes. You end up swinging through it every time.
Producer of tonight's game, Carol Langley. Our director, Jonathan Evans. Brian Biederman, our associate director, and our broadcast associate, Gilbert Zapata.
There's another slider right there, Tom. First pitch.
And in there for a strike. Chapman was the best starting pitcher in all of Arizona during spring training. I mean, he was pitching like a #1 starter on a good major league team. But with all of those injuries, he was forced back into the bullpen. And after Sean Marshall had a couple of shaky outings, beginning the year as the closer in place of the injured Ryan Madson, Brian Price, Dusty Baker made the decision. They're going to give the ball to Chapman. There's another slider. Or something off speed. He threw a changeup a lot in the spring. That looks more like a changeup.
That looked like a changeup. Look at the action on that right there. I think that was a slider, though. But I almost had split action on it at the end there. That's almost not fair. There he goes right there. Reaching back for that 98, 99 mile an hour fastball. Spotting the 95, trying to put you away 98, 99, 100.
Well, trying to finish off Torres. And throws it to the screen.
Little Nuke Lelouch right there. Full Durham. Almost hit the mascot.
Those people back in the screen. Do you see that reaction?
Yeah, they're like, so what are you doing after the game? Ah!
Look at them. They're still shaking their head
That'll
down
wake
there.
you up.
Jordani Valdespin came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning, flied out to left field. Fastball is high. Still only a 3-run game. Mets trying to somehow, some way get Valdespin aboard and bring the potential tying run to the plate. 2-0. They've got Justin Turner, who they just activated off the disabled list before the game tonight when Jason Day went on the DL.
Valdespin right there, gearing up 2-0. You know a heater's coming right here. Everyone in the ballpark knows he takes a good hack at it. It's just a little too much giddy up at the end on that pitch.
Two-1. And there's ball 3.
Maybe he's going to a little bit more sliders tonight because he's having trouble locating that fastball. You've seen him throw 3 or 4 sliders tonight. And he's having trouble locating that fastball right now.
Three and 1 the count. Well, I'm stunned Valdespin was even swinging there. I know it's one thing to get to 2 strikes in the at-bat, but against this guy Chapman, if he's scuffling a little bit and you're down by 3, you need that next guy to bat.
In this situation, too, your run means nothing. You need base runners right here. You're down 3. If you had a 2-run homer right here, makes it 4-3. I'm surprised, too.
Popped up. Short left field. Cozart calling off. Ludwig makes a catch, and Chapman slams the door, and the Reds have come here to New York after the Mets swept Tampa Bay down in Tampa 3 days before this series, and they've taken it to them, winning the first 2 games. 4-1 the final tonight. Thanks for joining us on Baseball Night in America from New York. Matt Vasgersian and Eric Burns are standing by from the MLB Network studios. We'll look forward to seeing you next Saturday. Cincinnati defeats the Mets 4-1.